Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Kyle, and today we are recording some of our messages since we're in this time of quarantine and not being able to go out. So anyhow, one of these things that I wanted to talk about was that I see often in forums and different places is how we go about dealing with a pastor that has his microphone here versus sometimes down here even. So kind of walk through what I do and how I do it, and I'll show you what we do here. All right, so he's taking a break, but
Stop right now.
we have, you can see how he's got his microphone up and down and away from his face, and we're on this MC microphone here, which is MC1, and we basically always reserve that for him. And if we pull that up here onto the screen, you see him just doing some simple EQs, some digging out some of the low mids and just the mid-range stuff. And then basically I have a very, very slow acting expander, so the second he talks it opens, but then as it releases, like as he crosses the threshold going back, it gently gets rid of the room noise. So and it's only doing that 2-to-1, and you can see I've got it's almost a second and a half that it takes for it to completely close off again. Really quick attack, and it's only ranged down to it's only doing a 10 decibel drop. So you don't ever completely lose it. It's not a gate, it's an expander. But the second he talks, it opens up, and then you can see as he pauses, it starts to close off. And so it just feels very natural. We also have the compressor. This is really the last in the line. It's just an extra in case. And but this really deals with the tone and the noise. This catches any extra. If he pulls in real close, it will close it off. And it's just a 3-to-1 or so. Gentle knee, quick attack, fairly quick release, and then we gain up to add. So the deal with broadcast is that you're dealing with fighting the signal to noise ratio. You're trying to get as much signal through and have as little noise as possible with a very standard and small dynamic range. So you want the quietest thing here and the loudest thing here, and only 6 to 9 decibels really between those differences. I mean, you can get a little bit more, especially in spoken word, but that's that. And I mean, we have an output compression session, so there's the max BCL. It's got a L2 limiter from Waves. It's got the max bass as well as the Renaissance compressor that's built into that hardware box. A TC Electronics finalizer, which has a multiband compressor, and it does what's called normalizing. Now, it's just a RMS compression over time. It's not actually truly normalizing. And then the other thing is we have this Manley stereo variable multimeter compressor, which is, this thing is, it adds the sparkle sauce to everything. I mean, whenever you have music going through it, there's something special about that thing, and it sounds so great. And so anyways, there's compression limiting, and that's just the output side. Then we have the actual MC mic that has just a touch of compression here. That's more limiting almost. It's run to a group here, to our preach group, and so whenever I pull that up, I've got a Renaissance compressor there. If it will, there you go, and I can click on that guy and let you see what we're doing here. There you are. So it's pretty gentle. Again, it's only when he gets really loud, 2-to-1, and it's not even his average talking, and you can see where he's talking with it in his mouth. But if he pulls that sucker closer to his face, that thing's going to dig in and keep it from getting crazy. So back to the vocal group, and we also have, the preach group, and we also have, let's click on outputs here, the Waves C6 multiband, and that's really brightening it up a little bit and kind of closing off the sibilance a lot more, so focusing a lot more on the sibilance aspect of things. It's also gently touching the lows, not lots, just a little bit. And then again, checking the de-esser. This guy's not doing much, but if he digs in close, this thing will crush any S's that he slams into it. So it definitely does work, but not have to do it all the time. So the other thing is that this zoom back out here, this bus that I use, that I call it the Preach, all of these MC mics end up flooding down to this. So, they're all assigned to this Preach group. So it could be him with 4 other people talking at a time. And so if there are multiple MC mics, you have to leave these settings fairly open to where you're not, if it's him and his wife, Pastor Lisa or anything, or him and, maybe he's got a panel of people. So I have MC 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, and then I have 5 through 8 are actually coming from front of house, from a feed directly from him through a Dugan. So it just helps clean me up for that. But anyways, so if we don't want these to be acting too much even just when he's talking, but whenever there's multiple people, I mean, we're having to take that in consideration whenever the way I'm doing this. So it's that, and then so that's just really some of the tips and processes that we go here. So now just looking at the output section of it, and just on the master fader, we do have, make sure I select the right thing here. We do have our signal flow, the way that it travels. So it hits this waves MV2 right here. And so it more than anything just does a little bit of push up in the compression. We're not really doing a lot of pull down whenever there's a vocalist or just somebody speaking, talking head. I'm only taking off a decibel on the output side just to make sure that if somebody gets really good and loud, there's no clipping. And then from here, so and you can see the hardware output is inserted after this waves MV2 here. So this hardware output is going to this guy. So it hits the Manley, and from the Manley, and then out of the Manley it goes into the TC Electronic Finalizer. Then the Finalizer, it does the normalizing, which again, that's a video function. It's really, I think it's more of a slow compression that is targeting a specific peak output. I mean, I haven't really looked into it too much, but so then from there it goes into a multi-band compressor here. It's just a little 3-band, and all we do is color it a little bit. So just make the smiley with the low end bumped up just a little bit. The mids are touched down, and then the highs are bright, just a little bit more of the brightness. So from there it comes back into the console, and then from the console it goes out digitally to the Max BCL, which converts it. We've got the Renaissance compressor here, the R compressor, the max bass harmonic inducer there, and then the limiter that I have. We're peaking. Our peak is set to -6, the highest, so it never gets louder or peaks higher than -6. There's 9 decibels that we're digging down into it. The Renaissance compressor is very, very gently, very slow, the slowest that it will allow it to go, and it is just a 1.7 to 1 ratio for that, and the slowest on that guy, I believe, is like 50 milliseconds or so. So that's actually pretty quick still in the world of mastering. So yeah, that's the gist. I mean, the whole point is controlling. We are trying to control the dynamic range of what's going in, and that's, I mean, we can count the number of compressors that we have here. We have the one here. We have two. Let's see here. Yeah, 2 compressors. One's just a standard compressor on the Preach bus here, and then we have the multiband. Then we have de-esser here on just this preach bus. Then we have yet two more compressor, or sorry, the MV2 compressor that goes out here, then another compressor here, then another compressor and multiband compressor. Then it comes back into here, then it goes back out to there where it hits another compressor, harmonic inducer, and then a limiter. So yeah, there's a lot of compression, and you notice that none of these are working too hard right now. So even just pulling this up, there's no compression really actively happening right here. It's not, crushing it down. But if he were to get really loud, so what we're doing is we're bringing the lows up more than taking the highs and crushing them down, because you can feel that in conversation especially. So that's the gist. And then you can see as he holds his microphone all over the place, it sounds about the same. I'll turn it up.
Any room for the fear of God? Because most of us are saying, no, I don't want any room. I don't want any room. No room, no room, no room. Because we think the fear of God is something that isn't who God is. We think the fear of God is like,
just
oh,
how
it's
up
bad,
and down
or it's wrong, or
that mic
we
is.
shouldn't fear God.
And there's a little bit of a change, the proximity
He's just the
effect
benevolent
there.
grandfather.
There's a little bit
the
of change,
Amazon
the proximity
Prime
there, but
God. He's the UPS boy or girl. God, he just is there to pour blessings on my life. That's what and who God is. Well, that's part of who God is. The other part is God is the Lion of Judah, the Old Testament calls it. And we've taken the Lion of Judah and declawed him and turned him into a house cat.
that's just a little peek into our world here, and what we do at Fellowship. And poor pastor just having to preach to an empty room because right now we're in the coronavirus of 2020, and it is mandated that we cannot meet publicly. So we are just pre-recording our stuff, and I thought it would be fun to bring you along and show what we do here as far as our broadcast when it comes to dealing with a microphone that goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and all around whenever a pastor speaks. So, and now I will say this is a separate board from our front of house console. So our front of house console, if you're wanting to do this, you cannot do this kind of amount of compression when you're dealing with front of house. You cannot do it. So to get the best effect and the best result, you have to have a separate mix for broadcast, and that's what I do. So if you have any questions, feel free to put me a message or a comment down below, and I'll be putting more videos out as we go. Thanks, guys.
What if we were that concerned